Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're jumping into one of the most useful tools in your entire English toolkit, the present simple tense. Now, I know it sounds basic, but trust me, getting this right is the absolute key to sounding natural and fluent. So, you ready? Let's get into it.
First things first, just take a look at the screen. Simple question, right? Do you understand this sentence? Just think about it for a second. Yes? No?
Well, if you understood that question, then congratulations. You already get the simple present on an intuitive level. That word, understand, is in the simple present tense. See? You're using it already without even realizing it. So what we're going to do now is just break down how it all works so you can use it with total confidence every single time.
Okay, so first up, what even is the simple present? The best way to think about it is like a tool that has two very specific, very important jobs. And once you know what those jobs are, using it correctly gets a whole lot easier. So here's the official scoop. We use the present simple for two main things. Stuff that's generally true, like facts, and things that happen over and over again, like our habits and routines. It's not really for things happening this very second, but for things that are kind of constant. It's also the tense we use for verbs that describe states, not actions, words like know, believe, or love.
Let's dig into that first job, talking about your life. This is where the simple present really gets personal. It's a tense you'll use all the time to describe what you do day in and day out.
For instance, I drink coffee every morning. That's a classic routine. You check your phone often. That's a habit for sure. Or how about we watch movies on Fridays and they walk to school together? You see, all of these are regular, repeated actions. So what's a routine you have? Whatever it is, you'd use the simple present to talk about it.
All right, on to its second big job. We're moving away from our personal habits and zooming out to look at universal facts. This is how we describe the world around us and talk about things that are just, true.
Check these out. These statements are basically timeless, right? The Earth revolves around the sun. That didn't just start happening today, it's a constant truth. Same thing with water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, or spiders have 8 legs. When you're talking about scientific facts or just general truths, the simple present is your one and only choice.
Okay, so we know what the tense is for. Now we've got to talk about the single most important grammar rule that goes with it. Seriously, if you can master this one little detail, you'll avoid the #1 mistake most learners make.
And here it is, the golden rule. When you're talking in the third person singular, which is just a fancy way of saying he, she, or it, you have to add an S to the end of the verb. It's a tiny change, but it's absolutely crucial for sounding natural.
And this just shows it perfectly. Look at the two sides. We say I work, but he works. You play, but she plays. They learn, but it learns. That little S on the end makes all the difference. It's a signal that you're talking about one other person or thing. Let's run through a few more real quick. She reads every night. He works in an office. And remember, it's not just for people. We use it for things like it rains a lot here, and for animals, the dog barks loudly. The key takeaway is this. If it's one person or thing and it's not you, that verb is getting an S. And a little pro tip, sometimes we add ES like watch becomes watches, or we change a Y to IES like study becomes studies.
Awesome! You have totally got the basics down. So now let's power up your skills. Let's figure out how to form negative sentences and ask questions, because that's where this tense really comes to life in a real conversation.
And to do all that, you really only need two little magic words, do and does. We call these helping verbs, and they basically do all the heavy lifting for us when we want to ask something or say no.
Okay, for negative sentences, we use do not, which we usually shorten to don't, and does not, which becomes doesn't. The rule is easy. Doesn't is for our old friends he, she, and it. Now look really close at step 3 because this is so important. When you use doesn't, the main verb loses its S. So, she works becomes she doesn't work, not doesn't works. Just think of it like the S has moved from the verb over to the helper word does.
And you know what? The pattern for questions is almost the exact same. You just start the sentence with do or does. Again, does is for he, she, and it. And just like before, the main verb goes back to its basic form, no S. So he works flips around to become the question, does he work? You see that pattern? It's pretty logical once you see it laid out.
And that is it. You seriously now have all the main tools you need for the simple present. You know its two jobs, habits and facts. You know the golden S rule, and you know how to use do and does to make it negative or ask a question. You've officially nailed the basics.
So let's put it to use right now. I'll leave you with one last question, something for you to answer using everything we just covered. What is one simple truth about you? Think of a habit, something you like, or just a fact about yourself. As for me, I love explaining things. Thanks so much for tuning in.